Okay, I want to talk with you about something briefly. As I'm working with clients, I use a leadership assessment that I had developed, and one of the scenarios in there says this. If I am experiencing a personal problem and I am at work, and then there are a couple of responses. One of the responses says this: I am vulnerable to reacting toward others out of my emotions. Now, that is what I call a transactional response. If you were to read that scenario and choose that response, that would be a transactional response. And I've had people ask me, how is that a transactional response? How is, if I'm experiencing a personal problem and I'm at work, I am vulnerable to reacting toward others out of my emotions? How is that a transactional response when transaction is essentially about me giving someone something for something in return? That's essentially the definition. Well, transactional behaviors are a telling. Transformational is a selling. So if you're gonna transform somebody into a better version of themselves, you sell the vision, you sell them on it, and you get them to work. Transaction is more of a telling, and that would involve the communication of giving and taking. But I think it's very important that we understand the difference between transaction and transformational. If I am a transactional leader and I'm having a bad day and I'm at work, what I will likely do is I will recuse myself from working with the team or communicating with the team out of fear that my emotions may get in the way. That's why this is a transactional response, because we will be fearful of not communicating well, so therefore we'll just not do it at all. Now, transformational leadership, on the other hand, is a leader who has mastered their position and they are able to influence people positively. But you can't do that without being a successful servant leader. Now, part of servant leadership is what is widely identified as being emotionally intelligent. Emotionally intelligent people recognize that as a leader, they don't get the option of having a bad day. In other words, whatever happened at home, whatever happened on the drive in, if there was a long line at Starbucks and it irritated you, you're having problems at home, the neighbor's dog was barking all night long, whatever the case may be, as leaders, we don't get to come into work and have a bad day. So herein lies the difference between transactional leadership, the telling, the communicating, or the transformational leadership of selling. So telling and selling. Transformational leadership is selling. Transactional leadership is telling. A masterful transformational leader will put their emotions aside and put their people above themselves. Put their team above their own problems. Transactional leader will essentially choose the response that's here to say, I'm vulnerable to reacting toward others out of my emotions, because they have yet to quite master being that emotionally intelligent and being able to turn off those emotions for the day in order to be a better transformational leader and move away from the transactional leader. So, wanted to answer that question really quickly. Why is my emotions playing a role in my day referred to as transactional? Well, there it is. Because transactional is telling, transformational is selling. Transactional leaders recognize their emotions, and their emotions will likely take precedence over the day. Transformational leaders, their emotions are checked at the door and their people are first. Well, I hope that you've learned something out of this. Take it, use it. If you want to know more about how to develop your transformational and servant leadership competencies, reach out to me. I'd love to have a conversation. Have a great day. We'll see you again.